You're listening to the Straight to Video podcast with Rob Lane.
We are doing it right here on a brand new episode of the Straight to Video podcast. Hope you're doing great and thanks so much for choosing to listen. Today I bring you a chat with a true pop rock icon of the 80s and beyond. Now, during the mid-80s, we had some true pop stars whose personalities and most importantly their songs still hold up today. From acts such as Paul Young, Phil Collins and Howard Jones, a name that stood proudly alongside those was Nik Kershaw, who joins me on today's show. Nik's hits from his first two albums are undeniable smashers. I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, The Riddle, Don Quixote, and of course Wouldn't It Be Good still sound as melodic and exciting to this day. Nik would also become known for penning hits for Chesney Hawkes with The One and Only, which is still a timeless rock song, and some of you may or may not know that he wrote and produced for Let Loose too on a couple of their biggest hits, 17 and Everybody Say Everybody Do, so you know it was a thrill for me to chat with him all about that. Nik is currently winding down his 6 in 26 UK tour, which still has dates left in Cambridge on the 20th of August and Nottingham's Rock City on the 22nd. Then in September he'll be performing at Blackpool's Winter Gardens, and he already has a full tour booked for next year for his Musings and Lyrics tour. All dates are on his website nikkershaw.net. But right now, please enjoy my straight to video chat with the music legend that is Mr. Nik Kershaw.
Hello, Rob.
Doing it. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, Tal. Lovely to see you. How's your morning going? Am I the first of many, or have you already started?
I started early, actually. You're number 2.
You got a full day of it?
No, not today, no. Just got a couple. But I am in an air-conditioned studio, so I'm quite happy to be here.
You're 4 shows into your 6 in 26 tour, which you've also dubbed a micro-anniversary tour, 50 years as a responsible adult, with just a couple of dates left in Cambridge and finally Nottingham at the end of August. How have the shows been on this run so far? You having a good time?
Yeah, it's been great fun. I mean, it is a tiny, it's a joke even calling it a tour. But we just wanted to do some proper shows rather than travelling halfway across Europe to a festival and playing for 20 minutes, you know.
You say it's not really a tour. It's kind of like, when does an EP become an album? How many dates become a tour?
Well, exactly, yeah. Yeah. So just seeing where to go. And there's a one-off, a place called the Snake Maltings, which is very close to me. It's a very posh venue. Quite an honour to play that one. But anyway, yeah, so it's going really well. Having loads of fun, hanging out with the band.
Do you see lots of familiar faces along the front row every now and again?
Yeah, there's a hardcore that turn up to most shows. I mean, it's quite regional. Obviously, there's different regions have their own hardcore, but there's some complete maniacs that seem to turn up everywhere.
I guess it's cool to see like the fans, which was probably like 14, 15 back in the day, who've stayed loyal and they've grown up, they've got their own kids now. It must recognise people perhaps from back in the day and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I did a run of solo shows last year, which I'm doing again next year. And there were people bringing their grandkids. That's where we are at the moment.
I love it. How it's touring for you these days compared to like the heyday of the 80s? Is it good to be in control of what you do now as opposed to being part of a big record label and the non-stop cycle of album tour? It must seem like two different worlds.
It's totally different, yeah. It's a much less stress, and I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I'm promoting an album or anything. I'm just kind of treading the boards because I love doing it. I love hanging out with the band. I've got a great bunch of people. We get on really well.
So I don't want to go to that venue again this time. Let's miss that one.
Yeah, but we kind of, it's just fun. I can't describe it any other way. And it gets me from underneath the wife's feet as well. So, she's quite glad when I go away every now and again.
Does it take you a while to reset when you get back?
I've been quite well trained. I mean, obviously there were the time, if you're spending loads of time on a sleeper bus or hotels, you come home and you throw your towel on the floor. I've learned not to do that quite quickly.
Awesome. Nottingham's Rock City, where you're playing at the end of August, it's an iconic venue, but back in the day, you would also play regularly at the concert hall in town. Do you have any particular memories of playing Nottingham in the past, or was it just another town on the run?
Yeah, we had I remember doing 2 shows on the Trot at that, and in the same complex there was a cinema as well, so I just spent the day in the cinema watching the trilogy of Star Wars films. So we just sat all day watching Star Wars films.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, the concert hall's always been a great venue for sound. It's one where I first started going to gigs at before I was old enough to go to Rock City and things. But wherever you sit in there, it's always an amazing sound.
Yeah, I do remember it. Obviously haven't played there for a long time, but I'm looking forward to Rock City because also a legendary venue.
It's institution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I did a quick dive into Setlist FM to see when you originally played Nottingham, and you came here a lot. I think the first time was April 1984 on the Human Racing Tour, and then you were back again at the end of that same year in December promoting the Riddle album.
Yeah.
That's an insane schedule and turnaround.
That was an insane year. Yeah, 2 albums were released, plus actually recording one whilst promoting the other one. It was bonkers. I don't know why I said yes. I think it was only kind of April, May of 84 when we've had a couple of hit singles and stuff like that. And the album was out and it's doing really well. And we'd just done the first tour. And some record company bloke said, "Cool, it'd be really nice to have something new out for Christmas." And I'm like, right, brilliant, I'll do that.
Do you say you had like about 2 weeks to write the songs for the Riddle?
I had 1 song left over from the previous album, but I had to write 9 songs in about 2 weeks.
It's madness. I mean, I had to double check that it was 2 albums in one. I mean, that was unheard of even back then. It's like maybe an album a year, but not 2.
Yeah, it was idiotic. That's what it was. And of course, it resulted in me being completely exhausted throughout 1985 and the third album taking far too long. That's what happened there. So had they been better paced, then it might have been, I don't know, it might have been a different story, might not, who knows.
I'm coming to see you in Nottingham with my sister, but she actually grew up as a fan of yours in the USA.
Wow, blimey, that's rare, yeah.
She loves your stuff. I mean, how much time did you spend in the US during the release of Human Race and the Riddle? I think I saw you did a show at the Ritz in New York and a show in San Francisco, but I couldn't see many others.
Yeah, there was the tiny little club tour we did in 84, which was wild. I think the Ritz show was filmed for MTV. And one in San Francisco and one in LA, and that was it. And then I toured in 85 with Paul Young.
Oh, nice.
Because he just had a big hit over there with Every Time You Go Away. I did loads of those sheds over there, which if people that don't know what that is, they're basically outdoor venues, specifically for gigs. It's a rock and roll country, isn't it? It's grown up with rock and roll, and they've got those facilities for putting on those shows. Some of them were attached to theme parks and
like state fairs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a great gig, fantastic responses from the audiences. But here we go, this is brilliant. And then sort of, it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I think you have to spend an awful lot of time over there for it to kick in. I got close with Wouldn't It Be Good? It got top 50, I think, with a bullet, whatever that means. But apparently it's good.
Wouldn't It Be Good was covered by Danny Hutton Hitters on the 1986 John Hughes movie Pretty in Pink. Do you know if there was a reason they didn't use your version?
I have no idea at all, especially as they're trying to break me over there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can't stop anybody singing your songs or recording your songs as long as they license them appropriately.
Yeah.
But how that got through the net, I don't know.
It's interesting because I had a guy called Tarquin Gotch on the podcast, and he was John Hughes's music guy. He's an English guy who John Hughes got to really know and really liked him because he could expose him to all these British artists.
Yeah.
And he would have been in charge of Pretty in Pink soundtrack. So it's unusual he didn't push your version. Maybe it was you think someone in the record label was like, no, can't use it.
I don't know. It's a strange label. MCA was a pretty weird label over there because it was fundamentally an urban black label, really. That's where it came from. So I was a bit of what do we do to a white pop star from England? They didn't really know what to do with me.
Who was your label artists over here?
For a while, Kim was a label mate, Kim Wilde, but not until sort of 86, I think she joined MCA. Who else was on there? The Fix. They were a great band, The Fix on MCA Records.
Outside of being an incredibly successful recording artist, you're equally well known for penning massive hits for other artists. We're all familiar with The One and Only by Chesney Hawkes, but you also did a good amount of work with Let Loose in the mid-90s.
I did, yeah.
You're a writer and producer on the hit 17 and Everybody Say Everybody Do. What do you recall about those sessions and how you got involved?
I was asked before they had Crazy, and I was too busy. I was doing something else. I can't remember what it was. And then I was asked again. In fact, I'll tell you how I got involved. This is a really weird story. Nick Beggs, bass player, Catchy,
yep,
dear friend of mine, went through a weird stage when he stopped playing the bass and became an A&R man,
right,
for Mercury Records. And it was he who contacted me and said, do you want to work with this band I'm working with? So that's how that happened. Yeah. And I got on with the boys. They're a very personable bunch. They were. They still are, I'm sure. They had some good ideas and good songs. And we just did the one-off for a while. I did most of what was to be their second album.
Right.
I remember recording it Real World with them. That was a hoot as well. But I was never very good at doing the producer thing. I mean, I'm great messing about with myself, if you excuse good expression. In my own studio, just doing my own thing but actually sort of people management and management and record company and just talking to people and getting budgets on time and all that kind of stuff was absolutely useless.
I think the producer role is like I think both in music and film, it's a real grey area as to what a producer does.
It is, yeah.
It's either someone to keep a band in control.
Well, exactly.
Or it's someone to shape the songs, or it could be any little hat you've got to wear.
I've met many different kinds of producers over the years, some who are really hands-on musically and some really aren't. Peter Collins, the guy that produced my first 2 albums, he just got things done. Record companies loved him because he got things done on time and under budget. That's one thing. But artists loved him because he just guided them, set them in the right direction. If they kind of basically knew what they were doing, you just stopped them sort of going up their own backsides. They're spending too much time on things or putting too many overdubs on things, which is exactly what I did do when I produced my 3rd album myself.
You worked on 17 prior to Crazy For You being a massive hit. Do you remember what you thought of the band's songs? And could you hear, I think you said about, wouldn't it be good? People had come into the studio and go, that's a hit, whether you could see it or not. So did you hear songs like Crazy and think, that's a really good song?
I don't think I heard Crazy before it was a hit.
Okay.
You think you can, but then you proved wrong. And you start doubting yourself. Because it's the same in your own career. Because when I was doing my own thing, and all of a sudden you're having hits, and then you don't question anything. You say, everything is a hit, isn't it? Everything I touch turns to gold. I'm an absolute legend. This is brilliant.
That's a quote. I'm an absolute legend, Nik Kershaw.
So you just, everything you do, you don't question. And it makes songwriting really easy because you don't question anything. You just have an idea and you think, this is great. Everybody's going to love this. And you just do it. And it's not until suddenly people aren't buying the records and the radio aren't playing it on the radio.
Do you dig your feet in even more? What's wrong with these people?
You think, yeah, they're wrong. They're wrong. What's going on? It's not until then that you start analysing your own songs and questioning, what made those ones hits, but why were those ones hits? And there were so many different factors involved in having a hit record, not least of which is getting on the right playlists, getting in the right TV show.
I listened to your chat with Chris Moyles and you mentioned it might have been Wouldn't It Be Good? It was like a 10-week campaign to get that up the charts. It's crazy. There's so much involved.
Yeah, well, it was. I don't know how you do it nowadays. I haven't got a clue. It's got to be on TikTok first, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Some lunatic dancing to it.
Do you credit anyone or any band for maybe your songwriting style? Reason I ask, I remember learning, it was either maybe 17 or Everybody Say when I first played with Richie. And I was surprised. It's a fairly simple chord progression. And I asked him why it sounded so intricate and cool on the recording. And he said something like, it's Nik Kershaw magic in how he put chords together or put chords on top and produced it. So where does your influences come from in how you put a song together?
They're all over the place, all very confused. To start with, my parents were classical musicians, if you like. So there was all that. I was exposed to that, whether I liked it or not, I was exposed to it. And then there was, I went through various sort of formative phases, like I was a skinhead for a while. I listened to reggae, obviously, because you had to if you were a skinhead, and Slade, clearly. And then I had my glam rock stage, my T-Rex and Sweet, and I was mad about Bowie was the one that really, really kind of kicked me into gear. And he used this a few chords, or he certainly did back then.
Yeah. Is it like making a G chord not sound like a G chord anymore, but doing something else?
Yeah, it's not that, or just not the usual progressions. It's like not launching into the chorus from the fifth below, which is the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
You get there from really exotic routes, I think I used to do a version of Drive In Saturday when I did some acoustic gigs, and they're all over the place, and where those chords get there. And I was asked to explain it at one point, and I had to go and analyse it and try to figure out how that happened. But I don't remember ever sort of dissecting any of those songs. Plus, there was all the prog stuff, I was into Genesis and Yes, and then Gentle Giant, and then jazz fusion. I was in a jazz fusion band for a while, so there's all that nonsense going on. So when you sit down after all that and start writing a song and a tune comes into your head, you just you've got a palette there that you wouldn't normally have. So you just you're not necessarily, you don't know you're using it, but you just you get a tune in your head and you just follow the tune, and the harmony and the chords come underneath it. So you just follow it where it goes.
Just becomes second nature.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get yourself into trouble sometimes because you paint yourself into a corner, basically. So you're going all these lovely modulations, and now you've got to get out of it and getting back into a verse,
Yeah, this is a hit. People will love this.
Well, exactly, yeah.
And finally, Nick, before I let you go, as you celebrate 50 years of being a responsible adult, what would that young, ambitious, out-of-school teenager Nik Kershaw think of your career? He's fresh from half-pint organ playing with the band Fusion.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd be chuffed with everything you've done?
I think he'd be okay with it. Yeah. I think he'd say, well, well done, mate. He'd probably say you could smile a bit more and enjoy it, because watching film and being interviews and stuff when I've had to from back in the day, I'm thinking, I took myself far too seriously and, I should have cheered up a bit.
So many people say that, though. They say, what would you do different? They say, I'd enjoy it more. I'd sit back and enjoy it.
Absolutely, because it was like a runaway train. You're just clinging on for dear life. And yeah, I would have taken a breath and went, oh, this is brilliant. Just enjoy the ride.
Awesome. A great way to end, mate. Well, I'll let you crack on because I know you're going to be busy today, but I appreciate your time.
Brilliant. Lovely chat, Rob. Ta-da.
Massive thank you to Nik Kershaw for chatting with me on today's Straight to Video podcast. A real thrill to chat with someone who was synonymous with the greatest ever decade for pop music, the 1980s. You can catch Nik and his band performing live later this month in Cambridge on the 20th of August and Nottingham's Rock City on the 22nd. Then in September, you can catch him at Blackpool's Winter Gardens. And if you want to see him next year, he has a full tour booked with his Musings and Lyrics tour. All the dates can be found at nickkershaw.net. Back over at our 80s video shop, we have lots happening, which starts this weekend if you're listening when this episode drops. On Saturday the 8th of August, we're debuting our new pop-up video store at Hull Comic Con, and then on the next day we'll be at the wonderful Cromford Mills Comic Con near Matlock. If you're around, we'd love to see some of you there to check it out. We think it's going to look really cool and a lot of fun. Then we're super excited to be welcoming David Bradley, who played Billy Casper in the classic movie Kes, to our shop on Sunday the 16th of August from midday until 4 p.m. There's been a really great response to this upcoming announcement, so it's looking like it'll be a really great day. If you can't make that event, we have lots more fun stuff coming up, but you can always visit us at the weekends when we're open as normal on Saturdays and Sundays from 11 until 3 p.m. And as always, stay up to date on all our socials at simply @80s Video Shop. So that is all for this episode of the podcast. So until next time, make sure to always be kind, please rewind and unwind, and I'll speak to you all real soon.